All right, and because it is 11:33, I think if all of you are okay, we might just get started. Does that sound good?
Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, welcome to ACS 151. I am your instructor. I'm Jessica Hale, and I'm here with Megan Gore, who's also an ACS 151 instructor, and she's going to help me out here, at least in a couple of these sessions as we're trying to make the class the best experience as possible. As some of your colleagues have webcams, that's awesome. I think that was just Kayla who was up again. Good to see you.
Yeah.
If you choose to participate in a webcam, we'll give you some opportunities to turn it on maybe at the end after you get through some content so you can get to know each other. But again, no pressure for those of you who aren't interested in the webcam. It's not intended to be a stressful experience. So what I want to have us do today is just start kind of going through some of the stuff that is going to be useful to us in the class. So if you are Megan or Nate, if you can start recording, that would be awesome. And we'll at least have something for people who aren't able to attend in person. A couple of things that we're going to go over today. We're going to do some quick introductions, at least to our locations. We're going to do a structural overview, and this is a little bit beyond that module 1 walkthrough that I created for you. And we're going to talk about upcoming online meetings and alternative assignments, some of those future speaker sessions, and then we're going to do a quick resource identification activity. And it all goes pretty quick. I try to have the agenda for the live meetings be a little bit leaner so that we have more time for questions that come up or issues that arise during the coursework through the week. So I briefly introduced Megan and myself, as well as Nate, who came on just a little bit ago to help us with some tech support. We are part of WCC's team to help you with this course and get you into the smoothest experience with the live component as possible. This course I have taught many times, but several years ago. So the last time I think I taught this course live was maybe winter of 2017 or fall of 2016. So Megan has been teaching much more recently, and she is a great go-to person, at least during our live sessions, to ask for support. I've been at WCC since 2007, and so I have a lot of experience with both on-campus resources as well as the online resources, and I'm happy to help you kind of get acclimated however you might need to. So for those of you that are here, how many of you are, this is your first experience at WCC, and you're welcome to use the chat or to just chime in with your webcam if that makes you comfortable, or your, I guess you could also write on the screen.
This is my first time.
Well, that's exciting. So this is your first class at WCC altogether?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, well, welcome. If you have any questions about the campus or resources, we'll talk a little bit about it today, but I'm able to help also. It looks like we've got some other people who it's their first time. This is a great experience to start with.
I've already.
Oh, go ahead.
I've already. Oh, I've already done online, or I mean, in class, in classes at WCC. I did a lot of ACS classes and English classes.
Oh, great. Well, you can be maybe a little bit of a resident expert for some of our newer students who haven't had those experiences yet. I find that, or at least I remember when I was a new student, it feels like there's a lot of stuff to learn beyond just the content in the classroom. So hopefully we can become kind of a support group for each other in that and learn a lot throughout the class as well. Megan, is there anything you want to add?
Sorry, I had my mic turned off. No,
okay.
This is a great class. You're going to learn a lot of great things. I'm excited to be helping out, and I'm glad we have some new people that are joining us and experiencing it all together.
Awesome. And Sierra, that's awesome. 108 is a great class. I've taught that one for years, and 107. So good. You're in our department. What I want to do is take a couple minutes to switch to giving you an opportunity to get a little bit more comfortable with some of the course tools. So one of the ways that I like to do that, and just to get to know a little bit more about all of you, is if you would use that drawing tool that you have enabled and indicate where you are from or where you're attending today, so we can kind of get an idea of where people are at in the state. And I'm going to take a minute and mark on the map where I am. I'm way up here where the internet is not cooperating.
Wow.
Brianna, Detroit, IPSY, awesome. So we got a lot of over here and over here. Other people, so you're welcome to draw or just shout out if you prefer.
Livingston.
Awesome. Well, hey, that's a pretty, we're all across the state technically, so that's a good thing. What you may find that some of our colleagues or people in the class are actually even from out of state. So one of the cool parts of online classes is you get to know a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds. So Northville, awesome. All right, so we've got people all over. I hope that as you get more comfortable, what I would like to be able to do is try to make our online sessions increasingly interactive. So if you are someone who wants your webcam, in future times we can turn it on so we can see what you're doing. If you're someone who is more comfortable with the writing or the chat boxes, let me know that feedback too, and I'm happy to help facilitate that kind of interaction for us. Let's see. All right, so let me switch our screens here. What I'm hoping is for the overview to actually get into our course and kind of show you some things that I think are really important as you're getting acclimated. So for those of you that are in attendance, if you would use the chat box, how many of you have already started to look in our course? That you've already done a little bit of the exploration to figure out what's coming up, what's due, what's on the horizon for us. Okay, Brianna, you have, that's great. Hey, Amy, welcome. Yeah, you got a good glance at it this morning. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a couple people who have. The person who's showing up as student, do you just make sure that you, before we leave, text me what your name is so I can make sure that you get credit. And I'd love to meet you. Okay. Oh, Karina, I don't know why you're showing up as student. That's so silly. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for clarifying. And for those of you that have looked in, please ask questions as we go. Let me know if anything is a little bit confusing. I'm going to have us focus just on what's in our class. I always recommend starting out on the announcements panel. A couple times a week, I try to post information that I think is useful for you and timely. I'll do reminders. I'll try to post a link reminder before all of our online sessions. If there's a really cool on-campus resource or something coming up along those lines, I try to post that too. I try to include the videos in the announcements so it's not so much of just flat text, make it a little bit more dynamic and a little bit easier to digest that information. So make sure that you have the ability to do that too, and it should be accessible through your phones using YouTube if that's how you're accessing it. The next thing that I think is going to be really important is the syllabus and schedule. How many of you have already looked at your syllabus and schedule? Anyone?
Yeah.
I printed it.
Oh, good, good. Let's see. All right, and Brianna, I'm gonna turn off that webcam just so it's a little bit easier. Oh, good. Kaylee, you do have it printed. Awesome. Okay, so you have it with you. That is good. I really think one of the most important things that you can have is your syllabus and schedule ready to go, so that we're able to, we're able to be on the same page in terms of expectations. The syllabus, I highly recommend checking out how you will be graded. So when we're looking at the syllabus, does anyone who has it in front of them, perhaps you have an ability to tell us, or do you want to type in the box or shout it out for those of you using the webcam, how much of your class grade is based on the live classes?
25%.
Yeah, so it's a big chunk, and the reason that I do that is because I think it makes it easier to stay invested in the class and keep pace in the class, and it's pretty easy. I think that the attendance in class is a little bit easier than some of the stuff that you have to do on your own, so I highly recommend attending each week, and if you can't, doing the alternative assignment. Homework is 40%, so you're going to want to make sure that you're keeping up keeping up with the work each week. If you get behind, make sure that you're communicating with me so that we can figure out a plan for you moving forward. A lot of the work that we'll do in this class is journaling, there's some quizzes, but the deadlines are always going to be the same. We have deadlines twice a week, the Sunday nights and the Wednesday nights. I don't have, or my intention is not to walk through the entire syllabus with you, but I am trying to scroll through to show you that a lot of the stuff is, I mean, there's a lot of text, there's a lot of things that you need to know. And for those of you that are into video games, it's sort of like learning the rules of the game so that you can figure out how to operate within it. One thing I do want to highlight for you is that the ACS Center, which is a physical on-campus location, has some hours, a couple days a week that you can go in and get tutoring or assistance. And so for those of you that do have access to campus, if you start to feel overwhelmed or you just want like a physical space to connect with, please consider visiting. It's in the GM building in 307. So for those of you that have taken 108 or 107 or some ACS courses before, you may know where that is. For those of you that are new to WCC, it's a great resource and I highly recommend checking it out. Are there any questions that some of you have about the syllabus or anything that I could answer for you? And you're welcome to use the chat. Go ahead.
Do we just meet on Wednesdays, like the live chats? Okay.
Yes, just once a week, so we'll meet 10 times, and I think it's a little bit funky because we have the 4th of July holiday, which gets observed on July 3rd and 4th, so we actually won't have a meeting that week, which is a little bit weird, but we'll celebrate Independence Day on a couple days, and that'll be a nice break. Any other questions regarding the syllabus that I could answer for folks?
You said that there's 3 ways like passing, like if you're busy, just to email you.
Oh, you mean if you're falling behind in the class?
No, like there's 3 times that you don't have to, I don't know, if you're busy or something. I didn't really understand that.
Oh, if you can't attend the online meeting, is that what you're asking about? Oh, if you can't attend the online meeting, for every online meeting, there's an alternative assignment. So in our course, if you're, let me take us back to our course before we look at the schedule, if that's all right. All right, hang on one second. Okay, so if we're in our course and you click on learning units, this is where all of our homework can be found. And in the learning units, for every unit that we have a live meeting, you will see an alternative assignment listed right here. So if you click on this document and open it, it's going to indicate some questions that you can fill out after you've watched a recording of our live meeting. So today's meeting is recorded. I'll post it here so students are able to see it if they can't attend. Watch the meeting, answer the participation questions, and then fill out the alternative assignment form. And then you can get points for participating.
We don't have to do that if we already participated, or do
Correct. No,
Okay.
no. That would be double the work, which I guess if you really wanted to, you could do. But I don't think you need to. Just do one or the other. And it's really because I know for people take online classes because we all have different schedule things going on. We have different commitments that we need to fulfill. And I want to make sure that for people who have something come up or are unable to attend that live session, that they can still get that content. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
When would they be due though? Like say like I missed the meeting today, like when would that alternative assignment be due?
It's still due tonight.
Oh,
So
okay.
I post the videos right after. So it takes a couple minutes to get it processed, but I get it posted right afterwards. And truthfully, like I do accept late assignments. So if you need to send me something late, it has to be before the next grading deadline, but I would accept it. Now, I share that with the caveat that it is really easy to get behind in an online course. And so I do not recommend planning on turning assignments in late, but if you do need to, you have the ability to do that. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Okay. Those are really good questions. So please feel free to kind of continue to to interrupt if you have questions along those lines. I think that's really helpful. So this is one of our learning units that I have on the screen here. Yeah.
So I was looking at the homework, and I see that you want us to upload Google Docs and all that.
Yeah.
And so in ACS, I have ACS 108 right now, and they're trying to figure out how to get Word on my computer because she had us do the same thing, but it just gives me a blank screen.
Okay. One of the challenges will be that some of our assignments are documents like the syllabus and the schedule that open in Word. So when you try to open those, what happens?
It just doesn't open. Like half of my ACS classes are all in Word, like for everything. And so lately I just been doing it at the school and turning it in. And they're trying to figure out, maybe it's my account. They don't know what it is.
Okay. Well, what I would say is that plan on doing whatever has been working for you in 108. And you can also try Google Docs. It requires some workarounds, but if you're able to save the files from the course that are Word files, you can upload them to Google Docs and open them in Google Docs. It takes like 4 extra steps, but if you can't make it to campus, that's my best recommendation. Certainly keep working with the help desk.
Okay, I just want to make sure I don't get like points taken off if I don't upload that.
Send me an email. Let's talk through some troubleshooting because you will need to have access to a way to do it. So that the alternative is just send me a screenshot of a computer that you're using that has it. And if you're on a campus computer that has Word, so you've demonstrated that you have access. And the point is not that you have to prove that you can install it, but that you have the programs that you need to actually be able to complete the work of the course.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Any other questions? Okay. So if we're looking at our course in the module, at the beginning, it'll tell you if there's an online meeting, and it'll give you a to-do list of items that you need to complete for that homework assignment. If you click on any one of those, for example, if we click on the online or alternative meeting link, it takes you to a page where you can upload specific assignments. So if you click on Browse My Computer, you should be able to see it. You can pick the document that you want to upload. I'm going to upload this one just to show you, and then click Submit, and you should be in good shape. And the reason that I share this is because a lot of people will say, I don't know where to submit, or I don't know where to submit the assignment. And so I wanted to take a quick pause to show you how to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. I want to know if I uploaded my homework and it actually got to you. I think I already did that.
If I had it by last night, I graded it by anything that was turned in by like 7 p.m. last night, I had graded already. But if not, I'll grade it today. So you should be able to see it. And this is an excellent opportunity. Remember in the course orientation quiz, it gave you, or if you've taken it yet, it shows you the different grading icons. If you click on any assignment that you've turned in, you should be able to see what's there. So if I go to my grades and I have turned in work, you can actually click on it to see it. So if I click Submitted, I can see what I have submitted there. If I click on all, I can see all the grades that are coming up. And I think that this is pretty useful because if you're trying to figure out, hey, did I earn grades? You can see if you did right here. So I got 40 out of 40. And I got a little comment here that says there's feedback. So if I click on the feedback, it's going to show me the text. But what I think is an easier way to view that is to actually click on the title of the assignment right here. And then you can see my feedback for you right next to what you submitted. So if there's a problem, if you can't see anything in this panel, I can't see anything in that panel too. So this is sort of how we have grading transparency. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So you can see whatever I can see, and as soon as I've graded it, you'll know because you'll actually see a point value listed, right? So you'll see a point value listed here, 40 out of 40, what assignment it's for. And if you just see a yellow circle, that just means you've submitted it, but I haven't graded it yet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right, and another really useful piece is if you want to know how you're doing in the course, if you click on all and look at weighted total, this is going to tell you your current grade. And I think it's always a good idea for people to have an idea of what their existing grade is at any time during the course. So if it starts to fall below a level that you feel comfortable with, there's an easy way to check that out. Or, you know, we can talk and figure out like, hey, why is my grade falling? What assignments are low? What can I do? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And for those of you that have assignments that you're like, man, I didn't want to miss points on that, I'd like to do better, I do allow you to resubmit work. So if you have an assignment that you would like to resubmit for points, you are welcome to do that, but it also has to be before the next graded deadline. So if I give you feedback, you have until the next graded deadline to submit that. Of course, if there's an emergency situation, let me know and I'll do my best to accommodate you. But I do try to let you resubmit work to improve your grade. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. In terms of sharing with you the schedule, I do want to take a quick minute just to show you, some people get a little bit overwhelmed looking at the schedule the first time. So if that happened to you, please don't, don't freak out. One of the things that I try to do is I list 1, 2, 3 items on the to-do list, and those are the same items that are listed in the course in that unit so that there's always parity. Does that make sense? So the course schedule should agree with what you see in any one module. So here it says to do these 3 things and attend the online meeting. And if you look at the class schedule, here are those 3 things, and here is the online meeting. Okay? So in terms of the schedule, the syllabus, how we kind of like look through the modules, do you feel okay? Like you're off to a pretty confident start? Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, are there any other questions about the grade book or how you would look in the grades?
Have any questions?
Okay, that's good. And if you do, that's good too. But at least we're getting a little bit more comfortable in the course. One of the things that I want to remind you right at the beginning is that this course is designed to kind of build up to a capstone project. And what that will mean for you is that we'll be using work that you do in each of the units towards your final project. So I want to kind of take a quick minute to show you where we're going so you can see how the work that you're doing relates. So by the end of this class, you're going to be asked to do a reflective portfolio. And you're going to be asked to do, here we go, in the wrap up, a reflective portfolio and a career portfolio. So by the end of the class, you're going to have spent a couple weeks putting together your thoughts on your career, on your strengths and weaknesses, on how you manage stress in the work environment, on a career that's interesting to you. You're going to actually talk to people in that career, and you're going to put it all together in a written document. And we're going to work on it each week so that you don't get to the end of the class and have this monster amount of work to do. Does that make sense?
Yes. Is that what module 2 is? Because I started module 2.
Part of module 2 is journal 1, and journal 1 will be included in your reflective portfolio.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes.
The other piece that we're going to work on is a career planning portfolio. And in this part of our final project, you're putting together or putting the finishing touches on a resume, which you will have been working on in the previous weeks, as well as a cover letter, and then proof of your ability to do time management and scheduling, because these are 3 things that you need in any career. So we're going to make sure that leaving this class, you've had time to think about you. And that's really what the reflective portfolio is, a lot of your thinking process kind of written down. And then the career planning one is where you actually have those deliverables that you would show an employer, right? Your resume, your cover letter, and your ability to be on time for that interview or managing a project. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So real world things that you'll get out of at the end of this class, but I want to make sure that going into it, you know that's where we're headed. So to get us there, I'm going to switch us back to looking at our future speaker sessions. One of the things that I think is really useful in this class is that you get the opportunity to connect with people all over campus that are experts in these areas. And you know, there's not another class on campus that does that, so it's a pretty cool thing to be able to connect with this many people to help you work on whatever you decide you want your career path to be. So in our next session, we're going to be talking about how to be a successful student specifically at WCC. And to that end, we've got some student panelists that are going to come and talk to us. And some of you who were here earlier enough, some of them even came today. They were going to jump in today. So hopefully we get them in a little bit. Or we'll get them next week, but they have great resources. And for those of you that have already taken a couple classes here at WCC, you may even know resources and tips and tricks to add to our discussion. The next class is going to be learning from our career resource librarian. She is fantastic, Sandy McCarthy, and she can help you learn about how to find out about what field you're interested in. This is looking at money like, what is the average starting pay? How many jobs are actually open in Michigan? What other states might there be more jobs in? And help you get access to that information, because the truth is that it isn't provided for you the way we would hope, right? I wish it was like you stepped up at a McDonald's and you just ordered what you want and they had it all ready for you. But the truth is that for career research, because we all have so many different personal interests and desires and ideas of what we want it to look like, you really have to take the position of advocacy and do that work for yourself. So she's going to show us how to do that with some resources that WCC has paid for, which is awesome. So resources that we wouldn't get access to just as a member of the public. And the next class that we meet together on the 19th will actually be about internships and apprenticeships and learning a little bit about how to use our skills and abilities to help us make good decisions. Have any of you ever heard of internships or apprenticeships before?
I've heard about internships.
Okay, so we're going to learn a little bit more, but internships are basically opportunities to work in companies where you go in and they have the expectation that you are learning. So you're not necessarily, they're not expecting you to know how to do everything. They're taking the time and paying to train you, or sometimes unpaid, to train you in those opportunities. So you get access that you wouldn't normally get, and they get someone to help them work. So it's sort of like a trade-off, right? And that can help you figure out if the career is a good fit, right? If you do an internship and you're like, wow, that's not what I thought it was, it's really important information for you, and way better to get that now or early on than once you've already finished a degree in that area. And apprenticeships work the same way. Apprenticeships are usually in trades or areas of skilled labor. And so they give you the opportunity to actually work in your field and figure out if that is a good fit for you, or what area in your field might be a better fit. So you can have apprenticeships in many different kinds of welding, right? And I think we're going to learn more about that. And I think it's a great opportunity to learn while working. And there aren't that many of those out there. So take advantage of those as we learn more about them. The next set is going to be managing money, budgets, and credit cards. And I learn something every single time I sit through and kind of facilitate one of these presentations. We're going to have an expert from the credit union here to talk us through some strategies on money management and budgeting that have been useful. And I think particularly as a student, when you're trying to maximize every dollar to get through your education, I think it's really useful to talk about this stuff on the front end. We're also going to talk specifically on July 10th when we come.
Hello?
Jessica?
Yeah, Jessica.
Don't go anywhere. Hi,
Okay.
everyone. She may just have lost internet connection, and she will jump back in here in a moment. We'll give her a second, but I know she was just going through your future sessions that you're going to be going through. I can walk you through some of those. She just finished up with credit union, correct?
Yes.
Mark?
Yeah.
You'll learn about budgeting, saving strategies, all really important stuff that we can all learn from. Then that's when you'll have a break for the online meetings because of 4th of July. And then the week after that, on the 10th, we will have James Bauer here. And so we lost her screen. That's okay. I'm going to bring, can you guys still all see and hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, so let me just get this back going.
Okay, we can hear me again?
Oh,
Yeah.
hi.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Hi, miracle of
I just can't
miracles.
see you, but yes.
Okay, That's okay. Let's see if I can turn
Oh,
that
there
back
you are.
on. Yeah. Okay. Not very exciting to see me, but yay, still here. All right, I'm going to turn off the webcam. I'm not sure where I cut out, but in terms of challenging jobs, your job will have stress. We have a stress expert who's going to talk to you about how to combat that. In our next session, we'll actually be working on building those resumes. How many of you have built a resume before?
I have.
Mhm.
I have.
Okay, so this will be extending some knowledge for some of you. We actually have resume and cover letter workshop experts that they can help you make it better. No matter what you've already got, they can help you make one better, and even more importantly, tailor it to your specific career field. You may not know, but depending on the career that you go into, there's different expectations for what those documents should look like. So we're going to learn a little bit about that as well. In the next sessions, we'll have interviewing techniques as well as that cover letter prep. And interviewing can be really challenging. How many of you like job interviews?
Not me.
It can feel like a lot of pressure. It can feel a little bit of stress. But the truth is that there are tips and tricks and ways to practice so that you feel more confident. So we'll be including that also in our discussion, and you'll have an opportunity to conduct a mock interview where you kind of put yourself on film so that you can see what you look like while you interview. And that won't be shared with employers or the class, but I think it's really useful for you as a learning technique to figure out how you could improve in presenting yourself to future employers. And our last session is going to talk about next steps, so where we go from here. In terms of career exploration, maybe we go through this whole class and you figure out, you know what, I really don't want to work in the field that I thought I did. We'll have an advisor to talk to us about what is the next step. And you may find the opposite, right? That you feel very confident about where you want to be, what career you're in, and then you can move forward from that point as well, establishing next steps for courses and experiences like internships and apprenticeships. All right, so does that sound good?
Yes. Yeah.
That is our
Yeah.
menu of upcoming speakers. So that should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're able to share with us. So in terms of what I wanted to turn it over to do is to help you do a little bit of resource identification. And so what I'm going to ask you to do is use the chat box feature. For those of you that are comfortable speaking, you're welcome to try to answer some of these as well. Chat might be easier for some people as they're kind of getting their thoughts together, but I'm going to pose a couple scenarios and I want you to try to come up with, and you're welcome to, use your web browser if you like, it's not cheating. To come up with resources on campus that could help solve these student challenges, okay? So the first challenge is Anna, and Anna is a single parent and she needs to find childcare for her daughter while she takes her math exam in the testing center. She's feeling really anxious about the test and what to do with her daughter while she takes it. What 3 resources at WCC could help Anna? And if you don't know, that's okay. You can Google, right? You can go out there and try to figure out what might be there or ones that you've used in the past. You're welcome to add those also. Should we have any ideas?
Daycare.
Daycare is helpful, but yes, did you know that WCC has a children's center?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is amazing. My son goes there. So I highly recommend it. There is a discounted rate for students, much less than what you would find out in a public sector, and they are able to watch your children for you while you're in class or during special occasions like testing or test prep. So for those of you that have kids, I highly recommend checking it out. There are people who go there. The people that work there are not only faculty experts, but students who want to go into childcare. So you have people that are highly motivated and well trained to take care of your kids, and that's pretty cool. What's another resource that might help her?
Family?
Family might be able to help you. What else?
Friends?
So family and friends, absolutely, and they might be able to help you with whether you're feeling anxious or whether you're nervous or need a little bit of help. And if you have friends and family on campus, that's awesome. But we also have, which you may not know, we have counselors and advisors that can work with you or Anna on test anxiety, as well as anxiety in general. So if you are someone who is feeling like being anxious might be getting in the way of your success, we have people that can work with you on that right here on campus. And you can do walk-in appointments or schedule appointments with them. So that's pretty cool too. What else might help, Anna?
I go to the learning support services and get all
Yeah.
that.
The learning support services are awesome too. They're on the first floor of the LA building, right, in 104.
Yeah.
And they're super helpful, can set up a plan with you. If Anna is a student that maybe has like ADHD or had an IEP in high school, they're able to do some help with that as well as tutoring. They've done tutoring in the past, and I think that would be helpful.
Also at the student center where the lunches and stuff, there's an office that is supposed to help you with your commendations or your problems.
Yeah. That's an excellent resource also. So I highly recommend it. Anything that you can think of that would be helpful and or for Anna or for you, help you get out on the right foot. That's a great thing to do. I also think that Anna might want to contact her math instructor, right, and see if she can get any help on what will be on the test or studying, right? So there's a couple of different strategies that Anna could do that hopefully, as you're thinking into your future student experiences, might be helpful for you as well. The next scenario is Bob. Bob has a learning disability, and he isn't sure what to do to make sure he can get the accommodations that he needs in order to be successful on his upcoming Spanish test. He'd like to practice going over the problems with someone, but isn't sure who to ask. Additionally, his car broke down this week, and he's worried about how he's going to make it to school for the exam. What 3 resources at WCC could help Bob? And we mentioned some of them.
The office
What do
she
you
was
think?
mentioning about.
Yeah, learning support services is a great place to go. If you have a disability, they can help you get the resources that you need. That's a great one. What else might he need help with? Where might he get some Spanish help?
The
Tutoring
TI
or
building.
All over. So maybe the TI building. What resources there?
I don't really remember. I haven't been there for a long time.
Okay.
A couple of years actually.
Sometimes they teach Spanish classes in there, so it might actually be connecting with other classmates, right? It might be talking to his instructor and making sure that he knows what's on the test, and to see how those accommodations might be met within the context of that class, or if he needs to maybe have a separate testing environment like the one in learning support services. And that might really help him.
There's also clubs. Sorry to cut you off.
Please interrupt it. It's not interrupting. It's perfect. These are your suggestions I'd love to hear. So a Spanish club is a great idea. Is there anything else? What could he do for his car?
Public transportation.
You could take the bus.
You could take the bus, and actually WCC has a bus route that goes right to campus, and you get to leave campus for free, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And what you may know is that we actually have an auto department, and so you might be able to ask some of the auto techs to look at it. And we have an emergency fund at WCC. So if you are an existing student and you have run into some sort of exigent situation like a car problem, we actually have some emergency funds to help you get things fixed if that's the barrier to you getting to and from school. So just something to keep in mind. And if you needed that kind of a resource, you can go to the Student Resource Center. And they have people that you can talk to about the situation, and they work with the foundation at WCC to make those funds available. So just something to keep in mind. Anything else? Did we miss anything? No? Okay, how about number 3? So we're going to look at Brianna. Brianna is an international student that speaks English as a second language. She's struggling to make ends meet living on her own away from her family. She has money concerns, she's hungry, and she feels lonely. She'd like to connect with some people on campus that understand what it's like to live in a foreign country. She'd also like to find out how to apply for jobs on campus and in the community to earn some money. What resources might help Brianna?
ESL.
Yeah, she could connect with the ESL department because I bet there's a whole bunch of students in a similar situation. What else?
Counselors.
The International Student Center, absolutely. Counselors. Those are really good suggestions.
Bonnie Arnett. I took her class a couple semesters ago, and one of the international students was in there, and she needed help, so she pointed her in the right direction and how to get help. There was even like an ESL teacher partner that came to class with her.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a wonderful ESL department, and talking with the faculty could totally help. She might also be able to connect with those counselors or through the instructor to get resources for things like being hungry. You may not know, but WCC has an emergency food pantry. So if you're a student that's struggling with food insecurity or not sure where your next meals are going to come from, we can actually help you with that a little bit as well. So something that Brianna might want to keep in mind. Another thing is that one of you mentioned clubs before. Absolutely, there's clubs for international students or clubs for any interest. It doesn't have to be that she's English as a second language. It may just be an opportunity to connect over a shared interest. So clubs are a great resource as well. What about helping her find jobs?
The career
counselor.
cruiser.
There's a couple there. I heard career cruising.
And
yes.
At the TI building.
And in the TI building, there might be some career development stuff that people would be able to do.
I did that once.
Awesome. So you have personal experience with it. That's really good. We have a career center, and some of the experts that are going to come speak in our class are actually from that center, and they're going to do, that's a wonderful resource on campus to go in even beyond this class and get help with resumes, look for job openings, job postings, not only on campus, but in the community, and they can help with that stuff as well. So that's pretty cool. I highly recommend utilizing those resources. Are there any resources that we haven't mentioned that you think would be really helpful?
Newspapers.
There is a newspaper on campus. WCC has a newspaper called The Voice, and you could go look for job openings in The Voice as well, or even join The Voice as a student club if you're interested to connect and meet with people. So good resources, and my point in including them today is that I wanted you to get an opportunity to start thinking about your experience, what unique things you have going on for you as a student, and what resources might make you be more successful or might help you overcome some of those obstacles. So to that end, I want to also take a minute to do a quick web tour of where you might find some of this information. Let's pause it really quickly. Where you might find some of this
You're really
information.
breaking up over here.
Oh dear. I can try to see. Megan, are you able to hear? Hang on one second. If the sound is breaking up, I'll see if we can get Megan to jump in.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. So if I'm breaking up, maybe.
I can hear you fine.
Oh, okay.
Now you're okay, but you weren't earlier. You were kind of like, whoa,
Okay.
like all over the place.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, I apologize for the Wi-Fi connection. My hope is to switch us to actually talking or going through a little bit of the WCC webpage where you could find resources that might be helpful to you. So I'm going to screen share the webpage here. If you haven't already done it, a great way to start looking for resources or a great place to learn a little bit more about what's available is to click under current students. And we're really lucky because they've actually provided this really long list of services available to students that may be helpful for you with issues that can arise during the semester or ones that you already know. I didn't realize that we were really offering a dental clinic for students. So maybe you're trying to be a successful student, but you have a terrible toothache. You might actually be able to go to our dental clinic and figure out what's going on. So I want to encourage you to take some time if you can and go through and find the resources that will be helpful for you. Does that sound good?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, and hopefully the sound is doing a little bit better, yes?
Yes.
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 Oh, good, good. Other than that, I just wanted to open up the floor for questions. We have about 10 minutes left, but I realize that you may feel like all of your questions are answered. You may have tons of questions, and I want to give you an opportunity to do some of that. If you don't have questions or aren't feel like you're ready to go, jump in and start on tonight's homework assignment, please feel free to do so. Thank you so much for attending. I'm going to ask that for this first session, because some people's names are in the attendee list is a little bit weird, please send me a quick email that says that you attended today also, because I want to make sure that it doesn't get lost in the chat feed. But other than that, I'm here for questions if you need them or if you have them. So welcome.
Is it always gonna be 11:30 to 12:30 for our meetings?
Yes.
Okay.
I won't change times on you. That would just be mean. Any other questions?
No. For module 2, do you want us to copy the thing from career guidance or whatever, Cruiser? Do you want us to copy them onto that one sheet?
You mean the answers, or do you mean,
Yeah.
so
Like-
you can copy and paste the answers or use your own words? Let me pull up the assignment so I can make sure that we're talking about the same thing. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay, so in module 2 or in unit 2?
Module 2.
Okay,
Like after I don't really know.
okay, so do you see it up on the screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in module 2, which of these assignments are you talking about?
Go down a little bit. Complete
The worksheet?
complete the plan worksheet. Yeah. Do you want us just to copy it from Career Cruising for what we want?
So this should just be from your brain.
Oh,
Like this
no,
doesn't have to be
not
from
that,
Career
not that.
Cruising.
Not that.
Okay,
Not that. Not that worksheet.
okay. So maybe you're talking about unit 2? Or are you working really far
Yeah.
ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's. Yeah.
Let me know when you see it, because I'm trying to figure out. So
So
are
you
you,
know, I did the first module 1, and then the module 2, planning and organizing. Complete the plan worksheet. I think it is.
okay, so if I'm looking at, I'm going to take us back. So planning and organizing, which is module 2. And these are the assignments that are there. And so the document that I just opened was the complete my plan. And that's the only one, the pre-assessment. This is the only other worksheet from this unit, and that's not
Yeah.
in Career Cruising. That's a separate thing. So Career Cruising isn't until unit 2.
Okay.
But tell you what, because we can't find what you're looking for right now, if you send me a screenshot of what it is, then I'll know exactly what you're talking about, and I can tell you maybe a better answer to your
Okay.
question because I can see what you mean.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else have a question? Hopefully one that
I do.
I can find or answer. All right, well, if you don't have any questions, you're free to go. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I look forward to seeing your work tonight, and I look forward to seeing your work in future weeks.
Okay, thank you. Have a good evening.
you.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye.
All right, and for those of you sticking around, I'm going to switch our audience view or switch our view back to just the panel screen and get our webcams off, so it should just be the audio. Thank you for joining us. And Megan, if you can stick around and kind of provide me a little bit of feedback on any wrap-up we might have, that would be awesome.
Sure.